What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Monday Night Football Pre-Lock Show. Little special edition here as we have two games, so we have enough. We have enough players on this slate to make it a full roster instead of just a showdown. Huge deal right there. That's a huge deal. So we're glad you're joining us, guys. And as always, we are a show for the people. So questions, all of them, get them in now. We'll answer them all. Guarantee it. We got a long 33 minutes left before kickoff with all those questions and everything we're going to talk about. So it's Monday nights are for Squirrel, man. We're bringing in Squirrel here, and I want to ask him how he's doing. And you know, just generally, did you play NBA tonight, either Squirrel?
No, I did not. Which is like a rare thing during the NBA regular season that I would skip it. I listened to the NBA Crunch Time. Like, man, that sounded stressful. Like I was listening to it. They did a stellar job because like 14 games on the slate, and there was just news breaking like every multiple times a minute. They handled it like incredibly well, and I just was sitting there thinking, this sounds so stressful. I'm so glad that I'm not doing NBA lineups tonight. I might do something that I've been thinking about doing more often, and this is a perfect night to test it, of just playing some NBA like turbo slates or like the late slates, right? Like where you have the lineups like a little bit more in advance, or you're not like trying to guess 3 hours ahead what the lineup is going to be. Not sure why the sites don't break the NBA slates up more like that, because I think it would be easier and more fun for everybody. But yeah, skip the NBA tonight.
That sounds fun. That sounds interesting. The breaking the slate up in the NBA. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But yeah, I was just asking because I was just kind of I did not play today. Did not have any content, but I got my Twitter list of all the NBA stuff going on, and man, it was active today. Lots of people sitting out. I'm thinking, wow, I'm glad I didn't sign up for a single game because that's brutal. So you got that going on, and guys, I see you in chat. What's up, Carolina guy? We're going to get to all those questions here. Get them in. I'll keep track of them. I got a question for you first, Squirrel, from a friend of the program, Columbia Blue. Okay, he wants to know what your method of attack is tonight on this. Are you playing? Is there one single game that stands out to you that you're going to use in the showdown, or is it all two gamer, or how you approaching something like this?
So I think the one piece of advice that I want to like have stick with people is like you think this is going to be like a showdown on slate, and it's not. It's like a classic slate. So on showdown, like the prices on Draftkings go down to like 200. And so it's like, wow, like Tyreek Hill's 11,000, but Malik Heath is 200, and so if I want to like fit like Tyreek with Tua, I got to use like Malik Heath. Is that worth it? Like we're not making those decisions tonight. There's like a bunch more roster spots than there are on Showdown. So to get unique, like you don't have to get that crazy. You don't have to get down to like Malik Heath. Like I'm playing like maybe one Malik Heath out of 150. That's fine. Pair him with Jordan Love. You don't need to like be going crazy onto like the third string tight ends, sixth string wide receivers. Like, we get like we have to play three wide receivers. So like you don't have to get that crazy to even get unique because there's just so many more combinations available on the classic roster than there are on the showdown. Second big piece of advice, I think we've gotten the question already. Like, do we fade Tyreek Hill because he's going to be like one of the highest owned players ever in any slate? I don't think you need to. The chances that Tyreek Hill is going to be like less than not one of the top three scoring wide receivers when salary isn't that difficult to come by on the slate, like the chances are just not that high. Like you need basically a Tyreek Hill first quarter injury. And even that might not do it. So I'm playing like an overwhelming amount of Tyreek Hill. I might not get to 100%. But like I think there are going to be more people thinking they're going to get different by fading Tyreek Hill and it's going to like blow up than there are like the actual chances of Tyreek Hill not being one of the top three wide receivers tonight.
All right. Well, that leads us into the first question here, and I'm gonna group these together because there's a lot of Tyreek Hill talk and fading him. So we'll just get to it. Basically, paraphrasing all the questions together here. Most important question of the day: do I fade Tyreek Hill and win all the money, or am I just being stupid?
Yeah, there's so many roster spots to get different. Like it's not showdown. I would play Tyreek Hill. It's all a matter of like risk tolerance. Like Tyreek probably has a 90% chance of landing on the winning lineup. So, and if he's going to be like 95% owned, then he's not a good play, right? And he might be at 95% owned. I think it's more likely he's going to come in at like 70% owned, and that he's actually going to be under owned because the salary is like a little bit soft on this slate. And he's only 9,200. It's not a showdown slate where he's like 11,000. And playing Tyreek in the captain with Tua means you've got to play some $200 guy. You can just play Tyreek Hill and not have to sacrifice. So that's my plan.
Yeah, it's a great game strategy standpoint. Like Tyreek Hill, 2 games and you got a guy that's going to come in at 90%, or something like that. What do you do with him? That's a good question, man. You either push the lock button or you fade him, and or come close to the lock button at least and see how it plays out. But there's a lot of good strategy that can take place on a 2 gamer, a little bit more than that showdown. So get to some more questions here as we get into the show. Again, guys, keep firing them off. I'm keeping track of them all, and we'll get to them all along with some other goodies here in a little bit. But and the plums play of the night here. Feel it in the plums play of the night here before we lock. 27 minutes left, so we'll call that roughly 15 minutes from now. Plums play of the night. Geek Hippie Tucker Kraft at tight end for the Green Bay. A play tonight. Use him as a cheap option. So Kraft at tight end for Green Bay. Is he in play for you? And is that your favorite cheap option?
Yeah, he's one of my favorite tight ends actually, just because I think people are going to go to Okonkwo first. So like I think Okonkwo is going to end up being a little bit overowned, and Tucker Kraft maybe a little bit underowned. So actually, I like Tucker Kraft. I think maybe Okonkwo is going to have just too high ownership tonight. So actually, like really distributing the tight end ownership, amongst a bunch of guys. I think it's like that's my favorite position to get different is tight end, and for single entry, even like a smaller field, like just maybe skip over Okonkwo. Nothing against him, like it's not like he's in a particularly bad spot. I just think it's like the highest priced tight end, and probably the highest projected. I think people are going to click on him way more often than he's going to hit the optimal lineup.
Let's knock out the Fanduel stuff real quick. Carolina guy's a big Fanduel guy, as are a couple of the guys in the chat. Just Fanduel mainly guys. Favorite low owned wide receiver for single entry, and favorite GPP quarterback wide receiver stack in the large field. So you had a low owned guy in single entry and a quarterback stack. I keep forgetting it's not a showdown; it's a 2 game. You can actually stack, and it matters. So. Favorite stack in a large field and single entry low owned wide receiver.
So my favorite wide receiver that's like going to be a little bit lower owned, I think, is Dontavian Wicks. He's not that crazy, but like I said, I don't think you need to get that crazy on this slate to get a little bit unique. So Wicks, if that's not crazy enough for you, you want to get like a little bit more different. I'd probably go with like one of the Giants guys, probably Jalen Wyatt. Just he's a good like FanDuel play in terms of like he's a long touchdown guy, right? So like, and if you don't like Hyatt, then like Darius Slayton, a long touchdown guy that's not a full point per reception. So you want like the long, like 60-yard touchdown. I think Slayton or Hyatt is a guy that can put that up at pretty low ownership. Super large field like stack, and I'm just gonna throw out one other really low owned play. I don't mind the idea of pairing Tua with their backup tight end, Julian Hill. He's going to have like very, very minimal ownership. I think he's basically equal with Durham Smythe. Again, tight end is the position that I prefer to get different at because it's a real toss up amongst all of these guys, but you have to play one tight end. So just in terms of like a quarterback, tight end pairing, that's the one that I would go with because I like the idea of playing Tua. But he's going to be highly owned. But I pair him with a really low owned guy where there's very little opportunity cost. If Julian Hill like strikes out and gets a 0, which is very possible, like you're still very much in the consideration for cashing because you're playing Tua. He's going to put up some points, and the opportunity cost at tight end is just not that high.
Very interesting. Yeah, I see all that. Okay, so we've got like multiple questions, the same question from multiple people, asking it in different ways, and it's kind of in play tonight. It's one of those things. It's basically it pertains to Mostert and Achan in the same lineup, which we would never do on a main slate. If you're ever going to do it on a main slate, Miami is the team to do it with. They've already proven that this year with some slate breaker, both of them one time. But now we're in the two game or even a showdown. Mostert and Achan in the same lineup together. What's your general theory on that tonight?
Yeah, I think it's fine, but I've heard it pretty often, so I don't think it's going to be like sneaky. I think a lot of people are going to be jamming in both like HN and Mostert, but it's fine. I mean, they're two worthy running backs. Um, and running back can be a little bit variant, it's just going to be touchdown variant, so I don't mind that play at all. I wouldn't go like absolutely berserk with Dolphins and put like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in that lineup, but yeah, like that's a way to play that game.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a way to play it on a little slate like this. I think it's very, very viable, and it's more than viable. Like I look at these other running backs, and then maybe that's the way you do get different with your stacking those guys together, and then maybe fading Tua and hoping it's a big running game. So yeah, I think it's definitely something. I definitely use it on a smaller slate, and tonight is a very good time to break that one out. General question here for you from Darren Hackett. Single bullet. He's got a single bullet in a large field GPP. What's the general strategy he should take on this 2-game slate?
Just try to have at least one lower owned player. You don't have to have like a collection of like fourth and fifth wide receivers. Like I said, like have a backup tight end. That's my favorite way to get different. Is just have an off the board tight end. Like if you have a single bullet, but you're really just like you don't want to split that 500,000 up top or whatever. You want that to be all yours. Like play one of the backup tight ends. Julian Hill is my favorite. Like you can go to like Lawrence Cage or if one of these guys sneaks in and gets a touchdown, they might be the highest scoring tight end on the slate, and suddenly you're a half point or a point up on everybody else.
All right, we got JB, who's a friend of the show, always in the chat doing his thing. How many quarterbacks should he use 20 max on this 2-game run? So 20 max competition, 2-gamer. How many quarterbacks? We got 4 quarterbacks available to us. Are you a lock one in guy, or you say let's play all 4 of them? Why not? I mean, what's the quarterback strategy at 20 max?
Yeah, I think you can play all 4 of them. Like I think each of them should be about at least 5% owned. But so I'd have a DeVito lineup, a couple of Will Levis lineups, and then I would split the rest amongst Tua and Jordan Love. Depending on the site, that might go more to it would probably go just a little bit more to it. But I think each of the quarterbacks should be at least 5% owned if you're 20 maxing.
Yeah. All right. Let me. I got some more questions here. We're gonna get to them in just a minute, but before we do, let's take a small, quick break here so I can get the read here on the Sims Lab. Am I doing the Sims Lab read? I don't even see it anymore. I think it got deleted. I don't know. Steve, we doing the Sims Lab? He's sleeping.
We're just doing the props today.
Okay. Don't worry about the Sims Lab guy. I think behind the paywall anyway. I asked earlier, man. The Sim Labs is behind the paywall, so you ain't got that. I want to save the props for just a minute. Actually, let's go and do the props read now because I want to ask you about the props here. All right. Props pick'em package. We got on RG now. Little section here for props. It's check out the brand new props and pick'em package. The experts at RG Projections team take premium stats, comb through the market for any inefficiencies. We got a whole section there devoted to it. It's pretty awesome. I was looking at it today, goofing around with it. The prop stuff is really good. It's really accurate. If you get in early enough, this thing can absolutely make you money. Guaranteed, no doubt about it. Play it the right way, keep track of it. And so with that being said, I got some more questions. But before we do that, I need your help with something here, Squirrel. I need your help with prize picks because we're on props package here. and I've looked at it and I've put an entry in for myself, but I'm going to keep that one under wraps. But I need another entry because I'm getting buried on prize picks this year. I can't pull out. I need the props package. I need to start doing that more. Let's walk through a 6-teamer. I want you to give me a 6-teamer here. We'll walk through some plays that I can make some money on here. All right. Let's make some money on it. All right. Let's start off with I want to start off with passing yards. You got the 4 quarterbacks here. Generally speaking, they range from Tua, 286.5, down to DeVito, 174.5. Is there any quarterbacks passing yards that stand out to you as a prop tonight?
Let me see. Sorry, I've got some numbers in front of me. If I'm going anything, I might go like over on Jordan Love. I'm seeing like 230.5.
Yeah.
And I might go actually under on Tua. Not in love with either of those, right? But like I think maybe the Dolphins don't need to pass that much. Hasn't stopped them in the past, but maybe this is the night where they decide to take the foot off the gas.
And Jordan Love playing the Giants. The Giants a little bit tougher against the run, and we don't have Aaron Jones, so maybe it will be more of a Jordan Love. What's the weather like over there? I haven't checked the latest, but I don't think it was too terribly bad. And weather can be a tad bit overrated, but I don't think it was anything out of the ordinary. So I think we're all right. Let's see. So we got Jordan Love. I took the Jordan Love over passing yards. Let's go to the receiving yards. Is there anybody you would pair him with specifically?
Yeah, I might actually try Dontavian Wicks. Like if you can get a number in like the mid to low 30s, I think that's a good play. But honestly, I think you could, if you want to pair him, like I guess it's like a underdog thing. Like you can pair him with any of the Green Bay receivers. Dontavian Wicks, if he's like significantly lower than the other guys, I'd maybe go with him. I think he benefits from Christian Watson being out.
He certainly does. So, but we got Love. He's got to reach 230. Wicks. Oh man, Wicks. That's funny. Wicks changed right as I did it. There's some guns got me for 2 yards, man. Now I got to eat that 35.5. But it's okay. I'm going to do it. But we still need 230 out of Jordan Love, so we can double stack if we want to. What about the Tucker Kraft 28.5? Does maybe check downs to Dillon at 14.5? Is there any other pass catcher that we feel like? Malik Heath, 10.5. We just need like one catch out of him. Anything else that stands out to you from the Packers side to pair with Love as a double stack?
So I was actually, I was thinking if you want to do Malik, I'd rather do Malik Heath over 10.5 as a prop than like put a bunch of money behind Malik Heath in a DFS lineup. But like, what was the number on Tucker Kraft? Was it
28.5? Oh
yeah, I'd do Tucker Kraft.
Let's do Tucker Kraft then. All right, we got a little double stack there. Any other receivers, generally speaking, that we got? Tyreek at 112.5. That's a pretty big number for a wide receiver.
That's real big. I might go the under on that.
Oh, baby. So we load up on him in DFS, and then we hit the under here, and we kind of like a little bit of a mini hedge. I don't mind that. Let's play that if they start running really well.
Like
never know how to.
He can hit 80 and still end up on the winning lineup in like a classic slate, like a 2-game classic slate. And that's a lot of leeway. Like play 100% Tyreek Hill and then go under 110.5.
Okay. One thing that was popping out to me in the props and picks package that I looked at, we had a lot of love for Devin Achane out of the backfield catching the ball tonight. So he's got props of 2.5 receptions and 17.5 receiving yards. Is either one of those things stand out to you?
I might go the under on some of the Achane props. I think it's still, it's a split backfield. So I would go like a little bit more like over Mostert than under Achane props. If he that's just what struck me. Because I think Achane's getting a lot of steam just in terms of general NFL ability. Whereas it's at the expense of Mostert, where Raheem Mostert's still really good and might still be the primary running back in this backfield.
It's funny you say that. Like everybody seems to think this is Achane's backfield or something, or he's we've watched that game last week against Washington. It was mainly Mostert when that game was still in doubt. Achane racked it all up when this thing came out of second half as a blowout. Not saying he can't, that he's not the guy or they don't want to turn him, but it was, from my eye test watching it last week, it was still Mostert as the number one guy with Achane getting fewer carries when the game was still in doubt than he did. So, yeah, man, that one's tough to me. That's interesting because I need Achane tonight in season long, Squirrel. I need Achane. I need Tua. I got that double kicker right there. I got Derrick Henry on the I got everybody going tonight, man. And this is the final week, and I have to have a monster night out of all these guys. So I'm rooting for it, but I don't know.
Maybe
all right.
Emotional hedge on Achane under.
Emotional hedge on Achane. You're right. Something like that. All right, let's see what else man, I like to – well, no, I don't want to mess with that. What about field goals, man? We can get our boy Jason Sanders, Miami, 1.5 field goals. Does that stand out to you, or any of these field goal kickers tonight? Do you think any of them stand out to you as guys who are going to kick more than 1.5 field goals?
Not really. I've got a funny story. A friend of mine made that bet. Every kicker, every team to kick at least one field goal in every single game, and he had it that week. The Dolphins put up 70 points. And he was texting me the next day. It's like, I don't understand. Like, what team? Like, what game did not have a field goal? I was like, it was the Dolphins. They put up 70 points. It was just 10 touchdowns. They didn't kick a field goal. I don't really like any of the kickers here because, like, these are, especially, the Dolphins in particular, like, pretty aggressive offense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Don't be like my friend and be sitting there going like, "What? How did we not get a field goal?" So, well, they scored 10 touchdowns.
Give me 2 more props that you really like. In general, they could be anywhere from anywhere. Give me 2 more to round out this segment here. Give me 2 more sacks, pass attempts, anything crazy that you feel in your plums here as a prop.
I would maybe go under on the Okonkwo receiving yards. If you're getting like 32.5.
Yeah, 33.5.
Yeah, so I'd go under there. I got one that's.
Let me ask you this one. It seems like I've heard a lot about, and I know that we know this anyway. Derrick Henry, very game script dependent. This does not seem like a Derrick Henry game script, which means it would be a Tyreek Hill. I mean, I'm sorry, a Tyjae Spears game script. What about Spears over props on the receiving aspect of it?
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's a really good call.
Which one's your favorite? 14.5 yards or 2.5 receptions?
Go with the 14.5 yards.
Let's do it. All right. I like that, man. All right, it all came together. Let me put this in. I'm going to win all my money back tonight right here, right there. That's it. All right, man. We got about 11 minutes left. We got to do the plums. Just in case anybody's out there wanting to alter their lineups from the plum. Squirrel, I'm turning it over to you. Your plum, fill it in the plums play of the night.
I have like different levels of plums, but it's like first plum is like Tyreek Hill. Like don't fade him. There's gonna be so many people fading him trying to get different. So I would like not fade Tyreek Hill. I think second plum, like I'd say like second plum is like maybe probably Dontavian Wicks is probably my most classic plums play of the night. And then if you really want low owned, like super large field, I'd go Julian Hill, the backup tight end for the Dolphins.
All right. I like it. And I'm going to give you my plums play tonight, and this coincides with a couple of questions out there, Greek Hippie and another one I saw, but I'll answer it with my plums play of the night. Jaden Reed. Got to go Jaden Reed. Some people were asking about Jaden Reed. Is he in play? So on and so forth. Jaden Reed is more than in play for me. Now, I got him on my bench in season long because I had to start Rashee Rice yesterday. But, boy, I wanted to start Jaden Reed. I think he's a great play tonight with Christian Watson and Aaron Jones out. That's also some carries that's going to leave the lineup, some checkdowns that are going to go to Jaden Reed now. The Christian Watson thing is big. Jaden Reed, I think, is going to have a really, really nice game tonight. So I love Jaden Reed. If you asked about him, absolutely he's in play. I like it quite a bit. So Jaden Reed, we go in that one. Tyreek Hill, Dontavian Wicks, we're all over it. Let's get it. All right. Double L wants to know, let me see, what is this? Is it Derrick Henry or Tyreek Hill for a showdown captain? I guess let's just suppose that's a really large field. Tyreek or Derrick Henry?
So I think like Henry's really game script dependent, so I just have to go with Tyreek Hill. It seems like he's going to cost too much, but like Derrick Henry might have a pretty bad game here. Like I'm not buying into the December thing. In this particular game, nothing against Derrick Henry. I just don't think this is the matchup for the game script.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're wrong because I really need this guy to produce here for me. All right, who's your favorite? Oh, this is a good one. Who's your favorite Giants wide receiver to pair with DeVito?
On DraftKings, I'd go Wan'Dale Robinson. On Fanduel, I'd go Jalen Hyatt.
I think I can go Hyatt on both sides. I think I've had enough of Wan'Dale Robinson, man, after the last couple of times I played him. But yeah, I think Hyatt looks like he's starting to come around a little bit and, looks a lot better. All right. Tyler Voss wants to know, how are you feeling about Bellinger? Speaking of Giants' potential targets.
I don't mind Bellinger at all. Like I said, like if I'm going to take a chance tonight, I want it to be at the tight end position, not wide receiver. I'd rather try to pick the best of the kind of crapshoot tight ends than like fade Tyreek Hill. I think Bellinger is not going to get clicked on because it was questionable, and people are just going to go to Chig Okonkwo. So yeah, I like Bellinger. I'd rather be over the field on Bellinger and under on Okonkwo.
Is Ben Sims a sneaky touchdown candidate tonight?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like I said, like I'd rather get different at tight end, and than any other position. It's like, yeah, go with the backup tight end.
Henry and Achane at running back? Question mark. Sure, that's fine. It's a smaller slate, and those are two of the better ones. Yeah, I mean, so he's Henry and Achane are running. Is it fine? It's fine. But I'll ask you this: it sounds an awful lot like when we go down the leaderboard of ownership tonight, the highest fade for you sounds like it's going to be Derrick Henry or close to a fade. You're not going to fade them all, but is that accurate?
Yeah, I think so. I'd rather be under the field on Derrick Henry just because like it's not the game script for him. And I think there's going to be enough people that are looking and going like, oh, it's Derrick Henry December. Got to play Henry's. He's had two pretty good games, and I'm just not buying it for this week.
Yeah. How much money would you leave on the table tonight? Is $5K too much? Oh man, that sounds like a lot, man, for a show. It's not a showdown. We're in a 2-game territory.
Yeah, so I would not leave that much because I don't think you have to. On Showdown, you're really trying to get unique. So like you want to leave money on the salary, like leave salary on the table. This is not Showdown. Like there's so many different like combinations of 20% running backs, wide receivers, tight ends that you can play. That's going to get you different over the like spectrum of like nine roster spots compared to like 5 or 6 on Showdown.
Double questions here at the same time coming in on Treylon Burks, who is who's active tonight. I believe he was for the first time in a while. He's back. What do you think about Treylon Burks here?
Yeah, I like him. I think I'm not going crazy with like the Tennessee wide receivers, but I think he can play Treylon Burks.
What about defense? Is there any defense tonight that stands out? You got four options. What's your preferred defense from Bugsy 77777 wants to know?
Favorite defense is probably the Packers, but you can play anybody. Like, don't be afraid to play Tennessee, especially if you're doing like a 20 max or something. Like Tennessee should be in there with like 2, 3, 4 of those lineups because defensive scoring is just so random. Like, and nobody's going to be playing Tennessee.
Yeah, very true. Maybe that's how you get you have Tyreek in there, and that's how you get different. You play a little Tennessee defense. You just never know. Can we recap the Plums plays? Sure. I'll tell you, my Plums play was Jaden Reed. Like him a lot with the Christian Watson absent. Squirrel gave a couple guys, definitely Tyreek, his favorite player tonight in general. To save money, though, Dontavian Wicks is a good one. Backup tight end Hill was another one. So plums are all over the place here. We're laying our plums out on the table for you, man, all over the place. All right. With Watson out, do you see Wicks getting more touches? Yes, we see that happening. So we covered that one. We got that going, guys. I think we're caught up on all the questions here. I'll give you a couple rapid fires here, Squirrel, before we get out of here. Rushing yards, Mostert or Derrick Henry?
Go Mostert.
Rushing yards, same backfield, Mostert or Achane. And believe it or not, this is Mostert is getting 11.5 on underdog from Achane.
Yeah, I'd still go Mostert.
Yeah, he's 11.5 yardage underdog to his own teammate, who we both kind of think is not the number one guy. We think it's Mostert, so that's a good one right there. That's a good bet right there. Some good stuff here. Hopkins or Hill in receptions, and Hopkins has a 3.5 adjustment on him. He gets 3.5 reception head start on Tyreek Hill.
Interesting. I like Hopkins there because like Tyreek is just going to take it to the house each time and end the drive because he's not like the pile up receptions guy, right? I would go Hopkins plus 3.5 there, and like nothing against Tyreek Hill, but just in terms of like 3.5 receptions is a lot.
Yeah, it is. Receiving yards, same team here with Christian Watson out. Who gets more receiving yards tonight, Jaden Reed or Romeo Dobbs, who we didn't talk about a whole lot?
I'd go Jaden Reed.
I agree, man. I think Reed is a very nice candidate for an anytime touchdown. They use him a lot of different ways. So I like Jaden Reed to find the end zone tonight with Christian Watson out. He's had 3 games with Christian Watson. He found the end zone twice, and those were the first 3 games of his NFL career to start the year. He looks a lot more comfortable now, and now he gets that benefit of Watson being out again. Yeah, I like Jaden Reed quite a bit. Guys, we got a little bit less than 2 minutes left. We've ripped through the questions. We've done some props. We've done a lot tonight. 2-game slate. I gotta go and enjoy some fun. I gotta get ready for the football, man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get my ice cream ready and put it on the right channel so we can get going. So, Squirrel, appreciate you coming by on Monday as always. What you got for me? You give me a send off here.
In terms of the slate,
anything.
Don't fade Tyreek Hill.
Don't fade Tyreek Hill. I tell you what, the man wins a lot of money by giving you these nuggets. So I wouldn't fade his knowledge. But guys, thank you for the questions. We'll be back on Thursday with another show. Until then, good luck on those GPPs. For Squirrel, I'm Chop. We're out of here.